The 7 habits of highly effective people concern themselves first with proactivity and the inner world, then the world around us, and being consistent in our interpersonal and personal lives. One of the things that happens once trauma survivors begin to develop practices and disciplines that help them be more regulated emotionally, it begins to set up a process where they can address the trauma they went through and metabolize and discharge some of the energies and adaptive selves that are associated. Once the energy is not dedicated to pressing down, repressing traumatic experiences, or trying to ignore, right, or in some cases run from the reality of those traumatic experiences, there's a lot of tolerance for discomfort that isn't dedicated to the inner world. That tolerance for discomfort can be transferred into strength and efficacious delivery of what you want to create in your environment. It's like this. If you have to carry a sack of your luggage around with you, if you have to pack up every day when you leave your home and carry everything with you, by the end of 20 years, 30 years, or 38 years, you're going to have a lot more muscular endurance. You're going to be a lot more ready for those experiences. And if you all of a sudden find some more security in where to put your possessions during the day when you need to go get your bread and your daily needs, then you can kind of leave that stuff there, right? And that's going to leave you a lot of muscular endurance that's not dedicated to living your life, to being who you are. This is a purpose of healing that I was unaware of. As I healed and survived, so that I could just try to pull others out and show them it was possible. Prove the doubter inside me that life was worth living. And so now that I don't have to carry my baggage around, right? My momentum and my ability to be effective is a little bit different than my peers. And I have to keep that in mind and evaluate their words without really emphasizing that point to them directly at that time. Anyway, when we look at cultivating an effective way of being, we have to be comfortable in our skin. And we don't want to cultivate an effective human being as a pathway to a sense of good enough for a sustained period of time. We want it to be an interplay, an integration. As we become more effective and achieve more things that we wanted to achieve, that create the world we wanted to create, we need to bring along that sense of self, if that's how we're getting any of that. We need to kind of adapt an ability to withstand the hardships of social pressures, right? And understand that what we're trying to do in a thing, a lot of times, what we're trying to do in a moment, or in an environment, or in a situation, right? That's not the best thing. We got to have some flexibility in there. We want to be attached to the outcome without being attached to the outcome, basically. That's how to be flexible in your co-creation of this world. Trauma survivors have a unique capacity for altruism. When we look at the capacity for altruism, part of this is in the prioritization of the self. There's an ability for trauma survivors to get into a type of toxic altruism. And there's an ability to transverse that type of altruism into a co-creation of a better world for everyone. When we look at the distinctions there, we're going to have to cultivate in all domains, people. We're going to have to get our whole self together. and I don't say that lightly. But this type of altruism heals the entire self in ways that are not bottled and will never be written or understood. Yeah. I know most of the people involved at this point have this inside.